living a life of compassion for ourselves and other people with enough energy to transmute, right, the poison in the world into medicine, into gold. And so the serpent isn't the problem, right? The serpent energy is a very powerful energy to begin to learn how to work with, right? And that's that energy sleeping dormant in the spine. They're saying what is Kundalini is described as a sleeping serpent coiled at the base of the spine. So what is that? It's in the body. Again, to reclaim this energy. Where's your sleeping potential? Where can you have more energy? How do you charge your battery? It's not here. So that's the thing, is most practices are coming at it from here, right? It's in your body. So you do practices that awaken the energy in your body, and then they say the serpent begins to wake up, and then she uncoils herself and moves up through the spine. If you're familiar with some of like the different energy centers or chakras, moving from the lower centers, the sexual energy, which is creative energy, right? And even sexual energy has been so demonized in our world. Without sexual energy, there's no recreation. So what is sexual energy? The energy to be able to create something. And we're very uncomfortable with sexual energy in the world. Even in the West, you know, my guru in India, he said, oh, are people more open about sexual energy in America? And I said, yeah, but in a really like go get drunk at a bar kind of way. Not in a really deep, sacred way. And part of that reclaiming of the feminine is reclaiming that sensual, sacred, sexual energy as being a big thing, as being the mother energy that recreates life. And that life is something we desire, and life is something we come back to again. Even in a lot of Eastern philosophies, there's the idea that if we are reincarnated, we wouldn't choose to come back here. So again, this world is the problem. So in the sacred feminine, we say, no, this world is not the problem. I have a tattoo of an Ouroboros, a snake eating its own tail. The circle is the womb of the mother saying, when we come into form and when we die, we're devoured to become another form again. But we will continually live in the same wheel because we choose this, because God wants to experience itself. And that's a really powerful way of, they say Tantra is, everything's upside down, right, from the way that we're normally taught everything. But that's because who turned it upside down in the first place? And a lot of the reasons why we have these ideologies and dogmas is fear. Survival, which is reasonable on one hand. We are interested in survival. That's not a problem. But we should be aware of when things are coming from our fear or our survival. And a lot of the freedom to live a bigger life we're looking for is going to come by facing those fears and crossing through them. In Tantra, they say the only way out is through. Can't disassociate, float away, being here in this experience. And a very great teacher, Carlos Castaneda, wrote a book, The Teachings of Don Juan, and he says, his teacher says in this, he says, you know, if we're trying to be people of knowledge, he says the first obstacle to people of knowledge, and in mystical Christianity it's called gnosis. Gnosis is knowledge, self-knowledge, not in a book, not from a priest, not from anybody being able to tell you. Gnosis is knowledge achieved through self-realization. Therefore, it's your own truth, and you know it in every cell of your being, because you experienced it versus being told. It's not in the head, it's again in the body, in the cells of the body. So he says, for the first obstacle for a person of knowledge is fear. And that 90% of people won't get past fear. Right? So a lot of people stay sleeping. Why? Because they're scared. If they start to wake up and look around, they may have to face some of their fears. Because we may say we want a lot of changes, but when change starts to happen, it can be scary to let go of what we know. Even if what we know is uncomfortable or wounds. Even letting go of wounds is sometimes difficult to do. What comes next? I teach a lot of workshops. People go, well, I would like to do that, but I don't know if I'll be okay. It's like, well, that's exactly it. You don't know if you'll be okay. But the spiritual path is standing on the edge of a cliff and knowing that if you take a step, you may think you're going to fall and die, but you're going to fly, right? Or you're going to land on rose petals, and there's no way to transform except by doing it. Otherwise, you're sitting on the edge of the cliff waiting. Somebody promised me I'll be okay. Somebody promised I'll still make this much money. Somebody, like survival, right? You're torn between your survival and freedom. What is calling you towards your freedom or your bigger life, your soul's expression, versus kind of sleeping. As I was saying, a lot of people, it's like, I'll just stay here half asleep. When I look out of the covers, I feel something beautiful longing and calling me, but I also am very afraid of change and transformation. So Carlos Castaneda said 90% of people won't get past fear. And if you do face fear, then the gift of that is power. Power coming through self-knowledge, right? And so he said, and the second obstacle to personal knowledge is power. So as what is the gift is also becomes the next obstacle, staying in our humbleness, even when we begin to have more power. How do we work with that energy of Shakti and power? I also feel a lot of people shy away from power if we're spiritual. Oh, I don't want anything for myself. I don't need any power. Who wants power, right? Because we've been living in a dynamic that one person having power takes power away from the other person. But there's only so much power to go around. But the idea with Kundalini is there's unlimited power, right? When we look up at the sky, there's unlimited creation. So how do we begin to switch that model? We begin to experience it as truth. So it's not that I'm not asking you to believe anything you don't experience directly, right? So I say we do a little bit of an exercise so you can have a direct experience of gnosis. And then if you stick around for the workshop later, we'll do more of this. So I'm going to teach you a breathing exercise, just to do it for a minute. And then when you finish, you're going to sit and just feel, what is this energy? What does it feel like? Right inside your body. Because one of the things that I didn't like about going to church is I felt everybody was telling me what my experience should be, versus having an experience that's my own, that I know is true in the cells of my body, right? And then sharing, you can talk and share that with other people. But a lot of the model of the way the world is, in that way that I call patriarchal, is one person telling the other person the way it is, what you should believe in, what faith is, right? And that kind of faith can be shaken. But faith based on direct personal experience or gnosis cannot be shaken because you soaked it up in every cell of your body. Nobody can take that from you. So then you have the faith of a mustard seed or bigger, right? And so this is an exercise, it's a breathing exercise. So breath is life. Shakti, life force, this is breath. Without breath, there's no life. We can go without food, we can go without water, but we can't go without breath, which is the real breath of life. Yeah, and so bringing your hands to your shoulders. I'm going to inhale, reaching up, and exhale. Okay, inhale. And make a little noise, loosen up. I know you got nice clothes on and stuff, but you may feel your body getting hot. Where's that coming from, right? Where does your energy come from? Not from your brain. So feel you're reaching up and pulling down infinite energy from the sky. You're bringing heaven energy into the body and connecting with the earth. And if you're tired, pray more. Receive the energy. Make a little noise. Let it go. Somebody pissed you off this week. Let it go. That's blocking energy. It's important to activate the voice and from your belly. You have more energy than you think you have. Where does it come from? Praying. Praying from your body, not just your mind. Praying to infinite source. A little longer. You can keep going, sister. I don't know what to do with this one. Yeah! Come on, sister. Yeah, have you guys done the let go of your noise might sound different, yeah? Let go of tension, right? Tension blocks the real, right? We get so disconnected from the physical reality and the actual experience of God and keep putting it in our head as ideas. But it's real. So just keep your eyes closed, sorry. Keep your eyes closed because you're drinking it in, right? When you open your eyes, you just begin to spend energy looking around, right? So don't look around, just look in. Okay, so looking in. And keep soaking that up. And so this is how you can pray with your eyes closed. Form an intention or a prayer or a sankalpa. What is it that you want transformed in your life? And feel that this energy is there to help make that happen. In order for shift or change or prayer to be manifested, to become something more than an idea, right? For that to happen, you need the energy for it. You need the Shakti life force to recreate, to rebirth. So breathe and feel how much of that there is. Most of us are walking around the world feeling alone and tired, like there isn't enough energy for our lives. And there's so much. There's so much that sometimes we're afraid of how big it is, because it might make us forget a little bit of who we think we are. And that's okay. Let go of a little bit of who you think you are, and you can become infinite. Things that you haven't even imagined yet can begin to be possible as you co-create your life. And co-creating with Mother Force, Shakti Force, Life Force, Force of Creation. This is not a distraction from your path to God. And slowly opening your eyes. So very simple practice, right? I invite you, please, take this home, do it for a week. We call this a sadhana. When you take a practice and you make a commitment to do it for a period of time. I always say, God likes commitment. Because you show up and then God's like, okay, still showing up, right? So make a commitment. Do that for like 1 to 3 minutes a day for 1 week, 7 days. And when you finish, you sit in the silence and you form your prayer. And be aware that the energy that you feel moving through your body is the energy to manifest your prayers. Right? So it's not an idea. It's a very real physical experience. I feel it. Delicious, right? Yeah, like, and God can feel delicious. Right, like, And sometimes, like, if we're being godly, we have to be really quiet, right? Because God's really quiet. God's very serious. Even meditation. Like, a lot of the ways that we learn meditation is only the stillness, but what about the activity? Right? And even in meditation, they say when you get up and start walking, you're still sitting. What it means to meditate is to keep a seat, to remember who's looking through your eyes, that this body is the vehicle for your soul to experience God. Life is God. The other person is God. My body is God. Right? And so beginning to feel that holiness and sacredness in reclaiming the physical as God. Not just the witness, right, but the physical. So in the story, we have the statue here of the Shiva and the Shakti. I asked Dana, I said, is this here every week or is this in honor of me? That's kind of far out. Like if you guys have that every week. But, why not? Maybe you will now. You might not. But you have the idea that the world of duality is made of opposites. You have the masculine and the feminine, the sacred masculine, sacred feminine. Sacred masculine is the archetype of the witness.